Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this really special webinar where we have my colleagues joining from the business school. We'll let them introduce themselves in a moment here. We're really excited to have someone other than me presenting today. My name is Souza. As you probably know, I'm the Assistant Director of International Admissions here at the Center for Global Engagement at Duquesne University. And we're really excited today to have our colleagues from the business school presenting for you as you're making your decision on maybe a program, the school. So they're here to answer all of your questions, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Rouhier. I'm the Senior Director of Recruitment and Admissions for the Palumbo Donahue School of Business. I primarily work with applicants to our professional MBA program, our one-year sustainability-focused MBA program, and our online graduate finance programs. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi all, thanks as well for joining. My name is Jonah Jobin. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruiting and Admissions here in the School of Business. I primarily deal with applicants who are interested in our specialized master's program, so the Master of Accountancy, Supply Chain Management, and Analytics and Information Management. So yeah, thanks for being here once again.
All right, thank you so much. Well, while Jonah gets the presentation up and running, I'll just remind you, during the presentation, if you have questions, you are welcome to put them in the chat, and I can present them to our speakers. If you have questions about the immigration process, then that can wait till the end. It's kind of a little bit more specific. So we'll take those at the end, because the content today is really about the business school. So happy to answer questions about immigration, but we'll wait till the end for that. So the first thing I wanted to go over before I turn it over to our friends in the business school is just where our Palumbo Donahue School of Business is located at Duquesne University. So if we can go to the next slide, some quick facts about Duquesne University. We are nearly 10,000 students, so it's really in the middle there of school sizes in the United States. We have 6,000 undergraduates and 4,000 graduate and professional students. Of our international students, we have about 600, and they represent 70 different countries. So we are very diverse here at Duquesne University in terms of our international students, and we're really proud of that. Most of our international students are actually graduate students. So you're in kind of the right field here, because a lot of our graduate students are business students that come to us internationally. We have about 65% of our international students are graduate students. We have a 14-to-1 student-faculty ratio, 10 schools of study, 80 undergraduate programs, 85 master's, doctoral, and professional programs. So a very wide breadth of academic studies for you to undertake at Duquesne, although today we're going to talk about business. Let me go to the next one. So about Pittsburgh, we are located right in the heart of Pittsburgh, and I'll show you a slide on that. We have been voted the most livable city in America. I have done a lot of webinars about Pittsburgh. I just did one that we're going to post on our YouTube channel, so check it out if you're interested. I'm sure you probably don't know a lot about us. You might know that we're the Steel City, but we're a lot more than that. A lot of cultural and arts opportunities here in the city, and most importantly, opportunities for work, business. I'm sure our colleagues can talk about that in their presentations, which is most important for you in your career. So we are located in the Northeast of the United States. We are about under 2 hours flight to all of these destinations that I marked on here, the major cities. So we're very well located. The Northeast of the United States is famous for educational quality historically, and our airport is only about 30 minutes away from campus, Pittsburgh International. So very convenient to travel if you're coming to Pittsburgh. I would say if you're going in the evening, it's even less than 30 minutes to the airport, which I appreciate. Okay, next slide. just to give you an idea of where we're coming from in this presentation, we're talking to you from right under the white arrow. It's pointing down at Duquesne University. And this is a view of the city of Pittsburgh. So you can see we are right in the heart of it. For you business students, this is an amazing opportunity to be able to walk to internship opportunities, to be able to grow your professional network. And I'm sure Chris is going to discuss that more. The left just shows you how beautiful our park-like campus is. So while you're right in the city, you still have this beautiful green setting, and it's one of the safest campuses in America. Okay, I think that's it for me. Yeah, so let me turn it over to my colleagues.
So thank you so much, Sarah. So a couple of pieces that I always like to start with when I'm talking about the Palumbo Donahue School of Business is essentially, where we've come from and where we're going. So many of you may know that AACSB is essentially regarded as the gold standard of specialized business accreditation. Schools that are AACSB accredited have to have sufficient resources to support student success. We have to have a strong focus on teaching quality. So, essentially, do our classes do what we say they're going to do? And we also have to have a high level of faculty research activity. So at Duquesne, business faculty don't just teach you existing business knowledge, they're active in the process of creating new business knowledge. And all of those things are documented and kind of demonstrated through our AACSB accreditation, which has been earned by fewer than 5% of business schools worldwide. Duquesne has actually been AACSB accredited since 1962, and we were the first institution in the region to earn that accreditation. So that's where we've been and kind of what we do. On the other side, if you think about where we're going, we were one of the first 100 institutions in the world to endorse the UN's PRME, or Principles for Responsible Management Education. So we offer a business curriculum that is research focused, that has a high level of teaching quality, and kind of puts what you do as a business student at Duquesne into a global context. Because at Duquesne, we believe that being the best in the world also requires that you are the best for the world. And Jonah, you can move to the next slide. So in terms of rankings for our programs, our one-year MBA program is ranked #1 in the United States and #6 in the world in Corporate Knights Magazine's Better World MBA ranking. So this is a ranking that looks at your commitment to sustainability in business. They look at the number of sustainability research facilities you have, classes that integrate sustainability into the business curriculum, as well as faculty research and scholarship. Overall, Duquesne has been ranked as the best value school in Pennsylvania, #4 best value school in Pennsylvania by US News. Our professional MBA, which is our evening program, is ranked #3 in the Pittsburgh region, which is a very competitive marketplace for higher education. And actually, owe everyone an update on this, but we actually were ranked in the 2022 listings of best business schools by Princeton Review as well. And you can move to the next slide. So one of the questions I get a lot is why somebody should pursue a graduate business degree. There's a lot of, especially in the United States, there are a lot of questions essentially about the merits of pursuing a graduate degree or college in general. But what we've found, the evidence shows that there's still a strong return on investment for a Master of Science degree or an MBA. So the Graduate Management Admissions Council released a survey last year that showed that 9/10 of graduate business school alumni rated the value of their MBA, highly. 84% said that it improved their professional situation, and just over 2/3 said it helped them achieve financial goals. So what we're still finding is that, a lot of times it's kind of fun for the press to, scrutinize the merits of pursuing a graduate business degree or just college in general, but it still gets students where they want to go, which is ultimately the most important thing. So there's a lot of colleges and universities in the world. And in fact, there's a lot of colleges and universities in Pittsburgh. So I think the question you're probably asking yourself is, what am I going to get out of my experience at Duquesne that's different from other institutions? And there are a few pieces. So first of all, we offer a cornerstone to capstone model. And what that means is that all of our business programs start with some sort of signature experience, some sort of new skill that you're learning, some sort of project you're completing, and they all conclude with an experiential project. We have state-of-the-art facilities, and that includes 7 business institutes and centers of excellence. So the classroom spaces you use actually will connect with what you're doing in that program and what you'd be doing in the profession. Sometimes when I'm giving tours to prospective students, I'll be asked when our building will be done being renovated. And my answer is always never, because we are really committed to having modern spaces that are relevant to your discipline. And as I mentioned on a previous slide, we have world-renowned faculty as well. So you're going to be learning from people who are active in the process of shaping business knowledge today. The other side of that is a student-centered environment. We recently invested about $3.5 million in our Center for Student Success, where Jonah and I are joining you from today. It's a bright, modern, open space that we use for meetings with students, for advising services, career coaching, networking opportunities. So it's a really nice space to be able to meet with the people who are going to be committed to your success as a Duquesne business student. Next slide. So these are all of the programs that we offer and all of the start terms that are available. So if you're thinking about an F1 for your graduate degree, I would suggest focusing on kind of these top 2 rows, our MBA programs and our specialized Master of Science programs. I would avoid the graduate certificate programs because many of them are fully online. And while you might be eligible for a visa, if you do a graduate certificate, you wouldn't be eligible for any postgraduate work opportunities. So we really want to be thinking more about our MBA programs and our Master of Science programs that are campus-based. And we'll be talking a little bit more about each of those in a moment. Perfect. So within these programs of study, we offer opportunities to really customize your degree. So you might have heard, and you probably have, fast food or restaurant chains in your home countries where there's kind of what seems to be an endless permutation of, combinations for how you can order a food or something like that. And while the School of Business doesn't have quite that expansive of a menu, we do a really good job of creating pathways through which you can kind of combine academic opportunities. So within our MBA programs, we offer stackable certificates. If you pursue our 1-year MBA, you can add certificates in analytics or supply chain management. If you pursue our professional MBA, you can add certificates in analytics, entrepreneurship, executive leadership, finance, or supply chain management. And while these might take a little bit of extra time to complete, some of them do transform the MBA program into a STEM degree. And as you'll see along the bottom, we offer a lot of different joint degree pathways as well. So the point being, there are lots of different ways to learn in the business school, and you'll have support as you kind of put all those pieces together. Next slide. So we'll start with our professional MBA program. So this is really designed for students who are kind of working professionals, where they're looking for something that's a little bit more applied. That being said, we do have a number of full-time international students in this program as well, especially because of the STEM pathways that I mentioned previously. Students in the professional MBA can complete the program with a mix of evening or online courses, or they can do it fully online. Obviously, if you're thinking about doing the MBA from your home country, fully online would be an option. If you're interested in an F1, you're going to want to choose the mix of evening and online classes. If you need evening classes, and if you need an F1, we recommend that you start the professional MBA in the fall term. We do, however, have online students or students who maybe don't have a modality preference, who will start in the spring or summer as well. It's a 42 credit program. You can reduce it to as few as 36 credits, as I'll talk about on one of the following slides. And as I mentioned previously, you can make the professional MBA STEM by adding on stackable certificates. So we have 4 1.5 credit classes in this program that are called fundamentals classes. And these are essentially level setting classes that are designed to prepare you for the rigors of core MBA classes. However, you may potentially qualify for waivers for these classes if you got a B- or the equivalent of a B- or better in financial accounting, business statistics, or any other stats class that includes regression, microeconomics, or finance. And if you took those classes as part of a degree you earned within the last 5 years. So let's say you graduated in 2019 and you got a B- in business finance in a class you took in 2016, that would qualify for the waiver. But if you graduated from college in 2010 and you got B- or better in all of these classes, you wouldn't qualify for the waivers. The time has been, too much time has elapsed, essentially. So once you get past the fundamentals classes, you'll complete the core of the MBA program, which is 30 credits. Your evening classes start at 6 p.m. The online courses would be asynchronous. And as you'll see in our curriculum, we have some 3-credit classes that meet for a full semester. We also have some 1.5 credit classes that meet for half of a term. Once you get past the core of the MBA, you'll complete a 6-credit strategy and capstone sequence. And I'm actually going to kick things over to Jonah for just a minute. Jonah is in his final semester of the professional MBA. And I think he'll be able to provide a nice kind of perspective on the strategy and capstone sequence. So Jonah, I'll mute myself for a moment and let you jump in.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so the 2 classes can be taken in your final 2 semesters or in conjunction together in your final semester. Strategy implementation is essentially casework. You're looking at 7 different case studies over the course of the semester, and you're sort of looking at business analysis and sort of how you would consult them. So a bit of a simulated consultation class. The capstone class itself is actually a live consultation with a live client. So right now, myself and my group and our cohort is working with a new tech startup out of Buffalo, New York, about 2 hours from here in Pittsburgh. It really gives you good exposure to what you could very well be doing with your MBA, as a lot of us go into consulting. And it's a really nice tie-up of all the things you've learned over the last couple of years in the MBA program, and then in turn applying it to real life circumstances.
Thanks, Jonah. A couple other classes that I want to highlight as part of the professional MBA curriculum are our strategic sustainability and models class. So even if you choose our professional MBA over the 1-year MBA, you're still going to have coursework that is relevant to sustainability. And then we offer a class called Executive Insights as well. So in that class, and I would say if you have the opportunity to take that one in person, I'd encourage you to do so, because in the in-person format, you'll have opportunities to hear from actual corporate executives, sharing their perspectives on their industry, what it means to be a good leader, how they achieved their role, and you'll actually have opportunities to speak directly to those executives and ask them questions as part of the class. Next slide. So our 1-year MBA, some of you who have been maybe exploring Duquesne for a while might be more familiar with this program as our MBA in Sustainable Business Practices. But the 1-year MBA is our cohort-based program that focuses on really integrating sustainability across business. So no matter what business discipline you're going into, you can integrate sustainable solutions. So if you think about supply chain management, for instance, being obviously environmentally responsible is an important part of supply chains. Ensuring that human rights are respected is an important part of supply chain management. In marketing, consumers think more about how their product was packaged, who made it, where it came from, was it good for the environment? So no matter what industry you go into, even if it's not directly in sustainability, this program still provides you a toolkit for integrating sustainability across a curriculum. In this program, you'll complete 4 consulting projects, 3 of which will be typically campus-based, and then you'll also complete a 4th project where you actually travel abroad. So right now, our 1-year MBA students are in Portugal as part of a 10-day trip where they're consulting globally with corporate clients. This is a 3-semester program. It's not STEM, but it can be made STEM. So if you do the MBA program by itself, it will take 1 year to complete. You'll start in the summer term and you'll finish the following spring. So right now, our next cohort enters in late May. If this is a program you're interested in, you would really need to get your application in quickly to have a chance at getting your F1 in time to start at the end of May. If, however, you are interested in this program, but you want something STEM designated, you could start the program in the fall with a STEM certificate in analytics and information management or supply chain management. So essentially you'll complete the 2-semester certificate first, and then the 1-year MBA after that. And across 5 semesters, you earn a STEM designated MBA. And I think the trade-off that you want to think about here is that if you do the professional MBA, That's going to mean you're spending a little bit less time on campus, but you'll have more opportunities to do your CPT. If you do the one-year MBA program, you'll have fewer opportunities to complete CPT, but you'll have a little bit more classroom experience and a few more opportunities to complete project-based coursework. Next slide. In this slide just kind of gives you a sense of what that curriculum looks like. We start you off again with introductory business classes, a more kind of open-ended consulting project, and then on the fall and spring terms, you'll kind of dive a little bit more into sustainability and a little bit more into change management. Every semester you're in the program as well, you also complete a class called Professional Development Practicum that focuses a little bit more on skills coaching and kind of on preparing you for your job search. So you have tools available beyond what you're learning in class to help you leverage your MBA in the job market. Next slide. Thanks. Our master's in accounting is a one-year program primarily, but we do have some students who complete it over 2 years. This program will give you opportunities to be successful if you're interested in being a CPA. Certainly, we encourage you to check the CPA licensing requirements for any state where you might want to earn your license. But you will earn the 30 required credits that you would need beyond your 120 credits for your bachelor's, because you do have to have 150 credits for the CPA. We are certified by the Institute for Internal Auditors, or IIA. It's the only graduate program in Pennsylvania to earn IIA certification, and we're one of just 38 programs in the United States to earn IIA certification. This is our only program that has prerequisites that are required for admission. So I just want to pause for a moment to note that you are required to have completed financial accounting, managerial accounting, intermediate accounting 1, intermediate accounting 2, and auditing prior to enrolling in the program. And the reason I mention this is because a lot of times we'll talk to prospective students who maybe have completed the requirements to become a chartered accountant, where maybe they weren't even an accounting major in undergraduate. They were an econ major who took a few accounting classes, but you might not have all of these prereqs. So before you apply to this program, I would recommend kind of checking your transcript, working with Jonah and I to make sure that you do meet those requirements. This is essentially what the curriculum will look like for the MAC program. You do have 2 opportunities for electives as part of that as well. That might include analytics classes, MBA classes, or specific accounting classes that are developed by the department. Our Master of Science in Analytics and Information Management is a STEM designated 30-credit master's degree program. And we're essentially giving you the skills to translate business data into strategic business decisions. So if you think about the difference between analytics versus data science, analytics is going to be a little bit more of like the public face of data. So learning how to organize data, clean data files, make data make sense to people who maybe don't have the same technical skills that you have. You have 2 pathways to complete this program that are both F1 compliant. You can complete it over 3 semesters, fall, spring, and summer, 12 credits in the fall or 4 classes, 12 credits in the spring, 6 credits in the summer, and then you're done. Or you can do it over 2 years, taking 6 credits in the fall, 6 credits in the spring, 3 credits in the summer over 2 years. We do have a fully online option available for this program. I would advise, again, against doing that unless you're planning to complete the program from your home country. If you're taking hybrid classes in this program, that essentially means that you'll meet on campus for a required face-to-face every other week. Next slide. This is essentially what the curriculum would look like if you do it in a 1-year path. During that first semester, that's when you're going to learn Python, which is one of the main coding languages in the program. You do not have to have a coding background to complete this class. We have lots of students who already know Python coming into the program. Lots of folks who are interested in this program are self-taught. So they're taking classes on edX or Coursera or going through boot camps before they get to us. We have other students who are totally new to the field. So you'll have the space to learn what you need to learn in order to be successful in the program. And then you will conclude with the capstone project. So kind of to follow the thread we've talked about already. In the professional MBA, you'll complete a strategy-based consulting project. In the one-year MBA, you'll complete sustainability-based consulting projects. And in the AIM program, you'll complete a data-focused capstone project working with a live corporate client. Next slide. Similarly, our Master of Science in Supply Chain Management is a hybrid STEM-designated master's degree program, but this one does follow a lockstep cohort-based curriculum. So you would start the program in fall, say of 2023, and you would graduate 2 springs later. So if you start in August of 23, you'll graduate in May of 25. You'll take 6 credits per term for 5 total semesters. We really take an integrated approach to supply chain management. And what that means is that we're not just looking at logistics. We're not just looking at transportation. We're not just looking at process improvement. We're kind of taking a unified view of supply chain management and helping you integrate data and sustainability across a supply chain. In addition to that, many of our classes will prepare you for other licenses or certifications, like your Six Sigma Yellow Belt, Certified Professional Forecasting, Supply Manager, or other what are called APICS certifications. So you don't have to take all of those exams. You would have to pay out of pocket for them, but that can be another way to increase your marketability and your earning power post-graduation. And as I mentioned previously, it's a hybrid program. So you'd be on campus essentially 1 night per week for required classes. We do have some students who complete the program fully online. And again, I would advise against that unless you're planning to do the program from your home country. Next slide. And this is the 5-semester curriculum. As you'll see here, again, we start with introductory coursework in data and kind of introducing supply chain management. And then the knowledge builds on itself throughout the curriculum, concluding with a project-based course that kind of ties everything together. If you were to choose the supply chain certificate, which again, I would suggest not doing on your own, but you could do it as part of the MBA, you would take the 3 required classes on the left, 2 of the classes that are listed on the right. For students who are doing the STEM 1-year MBA with supply chain management, we actually require that you take that sustainable supply chains class because it ties in really nicely with what you'll be doing in your MBA. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on finance. This is a fully online program. So unless you're planning to do it from your home country, I would suggest looking elsewhere. It's a 21 credit certificate program or a 36 credit master's degree, and up to 6 of these credits can be waived. It'll prepare you for advancement in the finance world or in the financial services industry, and it'll give you lots of opportunities to use our Investment Strategy Institute resources like our Bloomberg terminals, Wharton Research Data Services, and other tools. Our Executive Leadership Certificate, again, is a fully online program, but one you could pair with the professional MBA. You can typically complete it in about 3 semesters, and the intention of this program is really to create visionary and strategic leaders. So getting you not just to think about a manager who's kind of in the day-to-day details, but to be able to kind of think above that and across disciplines. Our Graduate Certificate in Entrepreneurship is currently a hybrid program. It's 3 semesters and 15 credits, and it'll give you essentially the innovation skills you need to either launch a new startup or bring innovation to existing businesses. You'll be able to use our makerspace, which is located here, and you'll be able to take advantage of Duquesne's connections to the entrepreneurial ecosystem around the Pittsburgh region. Again, if you're looking at the entrepreneurship certificate, I would suggest completing it as part of the professional MBA curriculum rather than as a standalone certificate. And this is the curriculum. Again, we start you off with very introductory entrepreneurship classes, and you finish with a signature experience. In this case, it's a pitch competition. I'm actually going to skip our micro-credentials, Jonah. They're fully online and they're non-degree. And then we'll skip executive education as well. Okay, so we are rolling admission for all of our graduate programs. That being said, I would really strongly encourage you to be mindful of wait times for visas in your home country. I'd encourage you to be mindful of the amount of time it will need for you to secure the funding you need for your I-20. And I would also encourage you to be mindful of the logistics that go along with moving to the United States, meaning even though you technically could start the professional MBA application in August as an international student, I would very strongly advise you against applying late Sarah, if you have a moment, if you want to jump in maybe to provide some recommendations around when would be kind of a cutoff by which our students should be completing their applications.
Sure. I think it depends a lot on where you're applying from. So I think one of the first steps is to look at the wait time in your country for visas. So it just varies so widely between country. There are some countries that have a year-long wait time for a visa. So fall, even if you started now, would not be available. However, some countries have just a few days wait time. So I think that's a good place to start. I see Chris just dropped the wait times in the chat, which is a really helpful link. Thank you, Chris, as kind of a first step to see maybe what your timeline would look like. If you have a reasonable timeline, maybe you only have a month wait or less for your visa, I think it's reasonable to say if you apply by the end of April for your fall semester that you would have enough time. But really for international students, you would always need at least 3 to 4 months ahead of time to really be able to get everything completed. And that is if your home country's wait time is not long. So keep that in mind, because also I think with the interview process with the visas, they like to see that you plan ahead. It is never good when you're going for an interview and your program starts the next week. In fact, we see a high rejection rate for that type of planning. Now we're able to issue visas or the I-20s a year in advance. That has just changed. So that's an exciting change. Before it was only 6 months. So you can plan very much in advance. So that's what I would encourage you to do. I could put my email in the chat. You're also welcome to reach out to me and I can kind of advise you on your specific situation, what our recommendations would be.
Thank you for that, Sarah. And Jonah, you can move on to the next slide. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our application requirements. So in October, Duquesne joined Business CAS. This means that you're able to essentially provide like the same basic contact information to every institution you're applying to, kind of like the Common App for undergraduate programs. It does have an application fee of $58. So some of you may have already paid that if you're applying to the university. We require your resume or CV. We also require application essays. Most of our programs of study require 2 essays. Some require 3, and you're always going to want to check the prompts for each of your programs of study. And the reason why I mention this is because it's really important to our admissions committee to see that you've intentionally selected Duquesne, you have familiarity with the institution. So we don't accept statements of purpose. Some of you, depending on where you are in the application process, you might have already gotten a message from me or Jonah saying, hey, I saw you uploaded a statement of purpose. We can't accept that for the essays. Please go back and rewrite them. And in fact, not to get too caught up in this, but we've denied applicants previously if we've reached out for a new essay and all they've provided is their statement of purpose. So we want to make sure this is something that's original to you and really reflecting on Duquesne. We require 2 letters of recommendation. Those do have to come from us directly from your recommender. So you'll be able to provide their contact information and they'll get a link where they can just fill out a short form. If you attended university outside the United States, we would need a course-by-course credential evaluation. And in a little bit, I'll share a link to some of the recommended evaluation services that we work with. And then finally, if your program of study was completed with a medium of instruction other than English, we would need TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo scores. You can request a TOEFL or IELTS waiver. And once we receive documentation that English was your medium of instruction, we will be able to make that waiver. I should note too that some of our prospective students come from countries where English is so commonly accepted as the primary language in the country that it can be difficult to find documentation that English was your medium of instruction. So if that's the case, Jonah and I will kind of do some of our homework to figure out like, okay, well, if you're required to speak English to get into the university, then presumably you're being taught in English, and we'll be able to make a waiver based on something like that. We're test optional for the GMAT or GRE. So just indicate on your application that you want to be considered for admission without a GMAT or GRE score, and you won't even see that requirement show up. If you're applying to the one-year MBA, you're required to interview. And if you're applying to supply chain management, we don't require work experience, but we recommend that. We are very, very general and kind of open, and what we'll take is work experience. So that could include an internship in the field, job shadowing, informational interviews. We just don't want to see somebody come in from a totally different discipline and have no idea what they're learning about. We want some familiarity with supply chain management before you join the program. But again, it's recommended, not required. These are our 2022, 2023 tuition rates. Those have been updated for the coming year. But the point is, the tuition rates vary. I think among graduate schools in the United States, our tuition is very reasonable, particularly for our one-year MBA program. There are many nationally and globally recognized MBA programs in the United States that cost double or potentially triple what our one-year MBA costs. Certainly sensitive to cost for many prospective students, but I think our tuition rates are set to be attainable for students. Next slide. We do offer merit funding opportunities. In our one-year MBA program, we offer merit scholarships and fellowships where you can engage in research. For any of our campus-based graduate programs, we offer GA positions that typically cover from about 4.5 to 9 credits each semester. You do have to have at least a 3.25 GPA or a GMAT or GRE score in order to be considered for a GA position. So let's say you graduated with a 3.0. We would want to have a GMAT score of 500 or better, or a GRE score of 305 or better for you to be interviewed. So these are competitive opportunities. Not everybody gets one based on interest, but if you qualify, you may be interviewed. And then finally, we offer a limited number of endowed scholarships, primarily in our MBA programs and in our Masters of Accountancy. These are essentially merit scholarships that are awarded based on private funding. So those really kind of vary from the MBA programs to the Masters of Accountancy. So our contact information is listed here. gradbiz@duke.edu is kind of our general admissions website, general admissions email address. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, and you'll be connected with either Jonah or myself, depending on the program of study you're interested in. I see Sarah has added the international admissions at duke.edu at the bottom of the slide. A lot of times Jonah or myself will be asked questions about, hey, like, how do I get my I-20? Or students will sometimes send us bank statements. Those should not go to us. So we want to keep those all of that kind of immigration related questioning going to the International Admissions Office. The School of Business will be available to answer any application or curriculum related questions you have. And with that, I'm going to thank you for your time, and please leave any questions in the chat.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was so informative. And I think for our students that are still in a deciding phase, just such important information. It has been really quiet in the chat, so I think that is a testament to your good information in this session. So students, we're going to wrap it up here. You have our emails if you would like to contact us with questions about this. I'll be posting this presentation in our YouTube channel. So again, thank you for joining, and we'll get this information out to everyone. And we encourage you to finish your applications. Let us know if you have any questions about that process to finish it. And we look forward to welcoming you in the fall, hopefully, or summer, I should say. Take care, everyone.